Welcome to TechBrothersIT. In this video, we are going to look how to get a table size in a dedicated SQL pool. We will also take a look how to get table space used by the distribution type, or table space by the index type, and distribution space summary. So I came from the background of a SQL server where we have a lot of databases, and then we often get to the point where we would like to know what is the size of the database, what is the size of the table, what is the size of the index, how many partitions are in that table, what is the how many records are in each partition, and all those different questions. When you're going to work with the dedicated SQL pool, you're going to have these tables, and I'm sure you will get to that point where you would like to know more how exactly this table is distributed across a 60 distribution, how many records in each distribution, and what is the size of indexes you have created, and other questions you would have related to the space. Now here in my TechDB DP, that's my dedicated SQL pool, and you can see right there I can go ahead and write some queries and get that information. So this article is the best article I was able to find that I have used. So it has, if we go on top of it, it has actually very nice information. So first of all, it tells you some comparison between your dedicated SQL pool table and your serverless SQL pool. So you can take a look on like schema names. Yes, in both are they are presented. Then you have table names. Yes, both of them will have this table names, but serverless SQL pool does not have tables, and table persistence. Yes, in the dedicated pool, and there is no persistent table persistence in serverless, because we don't have tables in the serverless. We have external table definitions that we have in both of them. So regular table, yes, and no in serverless. So you can see that the temporary tables are available in both of them. So you take a look on these, all the features. It help you, what you can do as related to the tables, and what you cannot do related to table in the dedicated pool and serverless pools. Now let's go to the further to get the table size, because I already have created a video on schemas, temporary tables, update stats and everything. So I have, and also we have done the videos on the distribution tables where we have used round robin or hash distributions and replicated as well. Now what we are going to do, we are going to go right here at the end, and that's where we are going to use one very simple query. What you can do, you can use the dbcc pdw and the show space user. So this can be used to get the information and then provide the name of the table, and that will give you information. But I think better way to get that all information is using a dynamic management view. So let me take you to the SSMS SQL Server Management Studio. I don't want you to take to the Synapse Studio, because if I will use query here, it's not gonna be well formatted, and that's where I don't want this work it to here. So if I will show you here, maybe I can show you here, but I rather work in the SSMS. That has I have more control on seeing the things, filtering the things, and all those kind of things. So to make the connection to SSMS, what you have to do, you have to go to the portal.azure.com, then go to the Synapse workspace that you have created, click right there, and then copy the dedicated SQL endpoint. So I have copied that, then I use this account to log in. Now if I go right here, so get to connect, and then provide your dedicated SQL pool endpoint, provide your user account, and then you will provide your password, and here you will be connecting where you're with your database dedicated SQL pool, so TechDB, and that's what I already I am connected here. So I'm going to disconnect for you, just so you can see it's a new fresh connection I have there. Okay, great. So here we have tables, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this article that's going to help us to create this view. And we are going to use the dynamic management views here, and we will create this view called debut table size, and this has every information that I think I need. It has a database name, it has a schema name, table name, partition, two-part name like schema and table name. Then you have a node table type, and other distribution policy, distribution column, distribution ID, index type, and whatnot. So you can read all that information, and it is reading the data from sys.schema, sys.tables, sys.objects, sys.pdw distribution properties, mapping, and it is using tons of those DMVs. And then it is going all the way, and then finally selecting that. Once it is creating this all, you have this query created with all these calculations, and then finally selecting what you need from the above query. And now it will add all those and give us the final query. We don't have to worry about this query, and what we have to do here. So there are two things right here. Okay, great. So I'm going to just copy, because I don't want to walk you through this query, how this query is written. You can read this query by yourself, and you will be fine. You will find out very easily what exactly this query is doing. So it's the first drive query is the base query, and then second query is extracting the item it need. So you see right there, this is where it is base query, and with all these calculations. And then once all those calculations are done, then you are saying, hey, I want to select everything, call this as a size query, the second one, and then select everything and from the base, and then finally select from the size. So this is the size query. Now we don't have to worry about this one. As I said, that is creating a view, and this is a good concept. You create a view for these this big query, and then you can call this view anytime or use this view anytime. And here I'm connected with my dedicated SQL pool. So I could not find store procedure techdb dot. Okay, it's not a store procedure. I'm creating a view. So now view is created. Maybe I was just selecting some part of it. Okay, the view is created. Let's go to the views, and here we will take a look, and this view is present right here. I can right click here and say select top 1000 rows, and it's going to get me that top 1000 rows. Now if I will select top 1000 rows, is going to get me all that information. So you see that I have execution time, database name, schema name, table name, two-part name like schema and table name. You have node table name, and then this is if you remember that I have a only single node for my dedicated SQL pool, and then you can see that I have this hash distribution for this product table, and then you can see that it is telling me this is distributed by the product new ID, distribution ID, index type, cluster column store that I have. Then it tells me the PDW node ID, then it tells me the compute, and then node name. So I have single node, as I was telling you. If you have two nodes, then you will see more information in the node. Then distribution name, distribution position. We have 60 total distribution for each of the table. We know that. And then we have a partition number, reserve space, page count, unused space count, data space page count, index space count, row count, reserve space. There is a tons of information you can see in the data in MB space reserved. Then have you unused, you can see that information, and then you have now here is the used space, so you can see right there in KB. Then you can see in the MB and the GB and all that. So you have tons of information. To get this going, I will say, let's say if you want to do this, and let's filter for one table where we say table underscore name equal to customer underscore CSV. So this table name is in this view, and you can go ahead and look in the list of columns, and you can see right the table name. So I use table name and then provided the table name that I have. So it is my table. So if you go in the starting, so you can see that table names without the schema. I could have provide the two-part name, and then I will say dbo dot this. So then I have to provide that. And here is I'm looking for the only information for my customers. Okay, it's underscore CSV. Okay, execute now. and we should have 60 records because there are 60 distributions, and you can see right there. And then go further into the details, and you can see the distributions and how much space is used. So here you can see for each of the distribution how much space is reserved and how much is used, and then you can see more details here, you know. So this view has everything what you need, and then you can filter for your specific table. But this view also is used further in the query that actually give more information. So here you use a table space summary. That's actually better if you will use because this is also extracting the data from the view, so that's good for us. It's already written, so I'm going to open a new query, and then it's going to give me a kind of summary. That's what is very important for me. So if I execute now, and if you guys remember that I was looking for the table called customer C_CSV. So look at the customer underscore CSV here. So you see that it tells me it is in DBA schema. It tells me the round robin is used, so there is no distribution column, but there are distribution column used for other columns right here. So hash algorithm is used for these tables, and then it tells me index type for those different tables, and then tells me number of partition. These tables are all without any partition, so one partition only. And then it tells you the row count for those tables, and then it tells you total reserved space in GB, and then total data space in GB. So you can see that, and the index space and unused space. So you have all that information, you know, for each of the table, and this is great information. Now if I will take you to the next query, what it has table space by distribution type. So I will copy here, and then we can go right there, and then open a new query, and I'm going to go ahead and execute this query. And now let's execute this query, and you can see that now it's going to give us the information like our distribution policy hash per, you know, type or replicate or round robin, and tables type row count. In the hash we have 67 row count for those different tables, and then have a total space, reserved space, and then a total space, use space, then you have index space as well. So this is also helpful to see how exactly in different distribution we have row counts and how much is space allocated and how much is used. Then if you want to see the space by the index type, you can go ahead and run that one as well. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just delete this query and execute. And here I will go ahead and see that. So for cluster we have a table type row count 3, and then we have a clustered column stored, that's a 90. So we have different rows in each of the table, and this is the distribution across, and then you can see the space allocated and used. Let's go to the another one, distribution space summary, and if I will use that, so you can use right here, and here it's going to give you more detail like in the distribution ID, then total node distribution row count, and then a total node distribution reserved. So you can see that in this all 60 distributions, you can go further into detail for each of the distribution, how much space, total node distribution data space in MB, and all those, you know. So that's very helpful, you know, to take a look and this much detail. So if I will go in this, let me go back to this table where I wanted to be actually here, where so you see that I have 60 distributions for customer CSV, and this query I wanted to show. So this is straightforward query, and you can see right there, and then distributions, and you can see data space and row count. So I want to show you row count. As we know that when we created this table customer CSV, and we see that so right here, this is where row count is 1 for distribution. If you go to the distribution, it's 20th distribution, and then you see that row count 1, and then you have 2, and then 1. I can actually filter and row count is greater than 0. So in this case, now it's going to get me only the distributions of where the row counts are available. So you see that I have four of these distributions where I can see those records. So if you see, notice here, and here is my row counts. I'm trying to find the row counts here. So I have 1, 2, and 1 and 1, 2. So you have I have total records. So I will go back here, and then I'm going to go copy this table, and I will say select start from this table, and then you should see I have 5 records. So see right there. Let's go ahead and do some experiment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say insert into the same table, and then I'm inserting 5 records. Okay, 5 records are inserted. I'm running again, so 10 records again. So now we are going to have more records. So I'm making this records to maybe probably 1000. Let's get that to that level. So now we have 320 and 600. So now we have more than 1000 records. So if I will go ahead and take a count now, so you see that now we have more records. I inserted the same records. I could have made small changes, but we have 2560 records. And remember when we were running this query, and we're having only 4 distributions. Now if we run this and you see that the same query, and now we have 59 distributions, and then each distribution is getting some records. And here if you go to the row count, and you see that now the row count is in each row, each distribution has different row count, and that's how the total records are equal to 2500 something. So we as the data, we are putting more data, the data will be spread across a different distribution, and not like each distribution is going to have exactly the same number of rows. And let's take a look. This is round robin. Okay, so we did not use hash, but the records are so small, like, so it is just spreading all around, in the different distributions. So I will suggest you, what I will do, I will put the link of this technical document in the description, and you can create the view, and after you create the view, then you can experiment and take a look, and do all those things that I would like to do. And I have question like how to get the total row count, how to get the total data used by the data, how to get the total data used by index, and the distributions, or whatever the question you have in your mind. So I thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, and I will see you guys in next video.